Living with daily persistent pain is exhausting. Even the thought of overcoming our pain seems insurmountable. Understand why pain is complex and learn actionable steps that will improve your quality of life. Now let's join Amber Kylick on A Path from Pain.
Let's get into this. First, hit that follow button. You've heard me say this before. Pain is complex. As much as the medical system has set us up with the idea that it's black and white, in other words, structural and biomedical, this gives us a solid reason to believe that our pain can be fixed. Unfortunately, this seems to be getting further and further away from the truth. If you're living with daily persistent pain, you've likely heard that pain is in your brain. Yes, the brain and nervous system do play a part, but the pain is in your body. You know that. I feel like the medical system is not set up at the moment to effectively treat pain, which sounds absolutely ridiculous. Our healthcare system is there to help us when we're hurt. Isn't that pain? Yes, it is set up to help us when there is a tissue damage or when something is malfunctioning. And often with that type of issue, there is pain. But what happens when the doctor can't find anything distinctly wrong so that they can treat it? I see two things happen. One, they start to blame the smallest things. Herniated disc, osteoarthritis, etc. Yes, these things can set you up for pain, but there are also many people living with these conditions that don't have any pain. This reactionary care system can create problems in and of itself and sets up patients to expect effective treatment. When they still have pain a year later or more, this doesn't work out so well. The second thing that I see happening is that doctors will spend years, literally, often looking for that one biomedical thing that will fix the patient. They will put the patient through injections, trying different drug prescriptions, surgery, and not to mention scan after scan. This is a costly and frustrating practice for both the patient and the doctor. Doctors are seen as having the answer. They are one of the top 3 most trusted professions in the United States, right up there with nurses and firefighters. So for me to say that they don't have all the answers doesn't really set me up in the right position. But think about it. There is so much research now and only so much time. You'll be surprised to know this, but doctors are human too. And sometimes they themselves are caught up in such a messed up medical system that you can't blame them for not being able to keep up with all the research. So where does that leave those of us who are living with daily persistent pain? Likely listening to podcasts like this one to help us find our own answers. So today, let's look at pain reprocessing therapy to help us find a path from pain. I started learning about PRT with the book The Way Out by Alan Gordon and Alain Ziv back in 2022. I saw it at the library and, similar story to last episode, the book was so good and relatable to me that I went out and bought a copy. Then I started doing some research and found a training program. I completed the program last year, and this is what we're talking about today. So I mentioned earlier that one of the things that happens with pain is that the doctor will pick out the smallest thing on a scan to blame your pain on. The thing is, you can take 100 people over the age of 40 off the street who don't have pain, put them in an MRI, and find that almost 80% of them will have some sort of damage that radiologists and doctors would relate to someone's pain. The downside here is that it sounds completely logical and rational when they tell you that it's degenerative disc disease or osteoarthritis. Why is that? We've grown up believing that doctors know these things, they're the experts, and that everything is physical. Pain is a physical sensation, so there must be tissue damage, right? This brings the brain and nervous system into the picture. But when was the last time you went in to talk to your doctor about your pain and they asked you to talk about the stresses and worries in your life? Now, this question could open a can of worms that doctors are not ready to deal with. Here in Alberta, they only have 10 minutes for each appointment. They are also not mental health therapists. but it is an important question to ask as it could lead to a very effective treatment option while they, the professionals in the structural aspect, can continue to look for a possible answer. Now you, the patient, don't have to wait around years and can begin your journey into treating part of your pain experience now. I've said it before. Let's say 50% of your pain is due to a structural issue. And if you've had pain for longer than 6 months, it is likely that a portion, let's say the other 50%, is neuropathic. Would you not be very interested in starting a treatment right away that could treat 50% of your pain starting tomorrow? And this is my sales pitch. Head to the website. You'll find the no-cost 5 days to change your pain program available for you to start right now. Now, back to this interesting learning. This is the part of the picture that needs to be addressed and added into treating our pain. And this is where PRT plays a part. It helps you see the big picture of your pain and gives you the tools that can help you work with your pain and your body to build a better life. No, it does not guarantee in any way that it'll fix your pain. PRT teaches you how to look at your pain and lower the fear and anxiety that come when you live with daily pain levels. PRT starts with listening. Everyone trained in PRT listens to your story, your experience, and then helps you to see different patterns, different triggers that might be affecting your pain levels. We act as a guide, first getting you to look at the times when your pain levels are higher or lower based on what maybe how your day is going. If you are doing something enjoyable, do you notice that your pain isn't first and foremost in your mind? If you're having a crappy day, do you notice that your pain levels are more intense? If you're dealing with a rough personal relationship, do your pain levels increase? If you're talking with a cherished friend, what are your pain levels doing, and are you even paying attention to them? We start to look for inconsistencies, helping you recognize that your pain levels and symptoms can fluctuate. This is the first step to build the proof that your pain experience is partially neuropathic pain. Pain that is related to the sense of danger that your brain and nervous system think you are in. Once we start to put these pieces together, once we start to recognize that the tissue damage we think we're experiencing isn't really the level of tissue damage we actually have, we now put ourselves in the driver's seat. Now, this isn't pushing through our pain. That's another aspect of why we're likely in so much pain. We've pushed through those initial sensations where the nervous system is trying to slow us down, and we didn't listen. We had to get things done. We had to care for the people that we love. We had to keep our job and build our career and hit those deadlines and drive the kids here and schedule this. That left us with a hyper-vigilant nervous system that now knows if it sends a strong signal to a certain area, it will get your attention. Pain reprocessing therapy helps you psychologically by looking at your life, your habits, and will help you build a healthier life from that mental aspect. It also will give you the tools, physically, to use your breath to connect to that overactive nervous system and help it calm down so that it only needs to whisper, not scream. And then you'll take a moment to listen. Then you can make an informed, rational, logical decision that will either help you finish what you need to do and take care of yourself after, or help you pause, reframe the situation, and take the necessary steps to make it right. Almost like couples therapy between you and your body. Pain reprocessing therapy also helps you break that fear-pain cycle that drives your nervous system into protection mode by allowing you to recognize the fear and preoccupation that you have with that pain experience. Now, this almost sounds easy, but it isn't. The first few steps you take on this path can make a world of difference. My first experience with this idea was after having watched a lecture with David Butler, one of the NOI group down in Australia. At the end, there was a question from the crowd. Why does my back hurt more when my wife is at home and we're fighting? This put the question in my mind. Can I recognize this in my life and see that being in a conflict isn't going to cause pain-like tissue damage? I started using this awareness, and it made a difference. I was now able, though it took lots of work, to connect with my nervous system in times of conflict and remind myself that I was not in physical danger. This was not a tissue damaging moment. It gave me the ability to see the disconnect between the level of pain that my nervous system was trying to send me and the actual non-tissue damaging situation. Now, to put it into more practice, I had lots of work to do, and there were times when things connected. I made decisions, I took action, and not through any of the exercises that my physical therapist was giving me, but in making the connection with building a healthy life, making sound decisions, and connecting to calming my nervous system. And I would notice every so often that there was no pain. Yes, I continued to build the strength aspect of my body because we know that healthy physical exercise is really good for us as well. But I continued to build on these things. Now, to be honest, I do still live with pain, but the practice and knowledge that I have that helps me recognize the difference between my nervous system protecting me and the actual physical tissue damage of what is going on in my back makes a huge difference. PRT is not about getting rid of your pain. It's about calming the nervous system and getting the right level of signal for the danger. Now, this being said, I need to tell you that there are some barriers to this practice. One of those barriers you might come across is when we keep the ulterior motive of getting rid of our pain. We need to remain objective and curious about this process. Another barrier is becoming hypervigilant about looking for those sensations so that we can work on them. Having this eagle eye on the intensity of our pain levels and the frequency increases the sense of danger in the nervous system, not a helpful calming strategy. Lastly, there's always the fear of letting go, of allowing this to become a process of curiosity. This level of staying in control of everything around us is exhausting. I'm sure you know that, and contributes greatly to the previously mentioned barrier of having that eagle eye on everything around us. Working with a trained professional in pain reprocessing therapy is key. They help you see these ulterior motives and barriers and help you work on them. So, take a breath. Let go of something right now. One of the ways I practice this, when I'm overanalyzing and worrying about something, first step is that I recognize it. Look at what I actually have control over. And not only that, but I look at what I want to actually have control over. Example, this happens a lot in parenting. Having what is left that I don't have control over, or that I don't really fully have the energy to get involved with, I take a deep breath and I just blow it out into the universe. Sometimes it comes back to me in an altered form that I can work with. Sometimes something will happen and it just takes care of itself. It's especially helpful to practice this when you're out in nature and going for a walk. My question for you is, out of those 3 barriers, which one do you think you'd likely be dealing with the most? Comment below. Let me know. Process look like in working with pain reprocessing therapy? That does vary, but after looking at different triggers, habits, and listening to your history of living with pain, we start to work with the skill of somatic tracking, of connecting the breath to the sensations of the body in a correct way. You can almost see this as a form of exposure therapy, where you're actually allowed to focus your attention on your sensations, not push those sensations away and override them with another activity or distract yourself with your phone to push them away. You learn to take the moment to calmly look at the sensation, experience it, and help your nervous system learn that you're safe and that you've started to listen for the whispers, not needing the screams of danger anymore. With this practice comes mindfulness, building that curiosity about the sensations without judgment or analysis. All of this practice while building the sense of safety, of recognizing that the found tissue damage or not found by the medical system is not as dangerous as we may have been led to believe by our caring medical system. Remember, they are only trying to do their best. But as a human with only 24 hours a day, one can only do so much. From this practice and sense of safety, we begin to build on the positives in our lives, starting to build on the things that we love doing. This is also a process, not just jumping right back in, but finding gradual exposure to build on the sense of safety around different activities, whether it's getting back into walking your dog, playing with your grandkids, hiking, riding motorcycles, or even getting back to work. Pain affects every corner of our lives, and when we are constantly searching for the fix, we miss the positives in our lives. We see them as something we'll just get back to once we have no pain, but then years pass by. So if something in this episode tweaked your interest, hit that follow button and message me. Let's get you on to that first step to build your path from pain. Honestly, I could talk about this for hours. Remember, complex pain is not black and white. Everyone who experiences daily pain is unique and deserves to be heard so that you can build your path from pain. Interested in learning more? Check out some of the articles, my YouTube channel with all the videos. Join me for that free 5-day Path from Pain program, or message me to learn how I can help you build your path from pain. Either way, hit that subscribe, follow button. If you like this episode, share it. Let me know why, maybe in the comments below. If you learned something that's helped you, consider supporting this podcast to help me keep producing content that can help others. And please share this episode with a friend. Word of mouth is my best friend. I look forward to sharing more with you next week.